Does Anthony know? Does Anthony know?
Let the bass kick. Let the bass kick. Let the bass kick.
Think about it.
bass kick. Let the bass kick. Let the bass kick. Think about it.
Inside the Woburn Public Media Center studios for this juggernaut matchup between the Wakefield Warriors and the Woburn Tanners. Our Lady Tanners come into this game with a record of 4-1 and Wakefield with an impressive record of 6-0. Joey, what's this matchup going to do for the Tanners today?
I think it's two successful teams in Woburn and Wakefield coming into this part of the season. As you said, Zeke, the Wakefield Lady Warriors come into this game with an undefeated 6-0 record, coming off a win in the North Reading Holiday Tournament, with the tournament MVP actually coming from Wakefield in Emma Shinney. And Shinney so far this year has either been the leading scorer or secondary scorer in each of their 6 contests so far.
Yeah, and Joey, you're totally right about that. Woburn and Wakefield, they're both dominating teams. They dominate their opponents. Wakefield 37-22 over North Reading, 46-16 over Arlington. And Woburn with similar performances like that. It's going to be a battle between the two teams. Is it the offensive end or the defensive end that will decide what goes on today?
I think it's going to be the better overall defensive team that you see come out and win this game, because as we see in the final score lines in each of the games so far for each of the teams, they have been able to get the high scoring output on offense, so it's just going to come down to who's the better overall defensive team to stop the high-powered offenses.
Oh yeah, for sure, Joey. Let's zone in on Woburn really quickly. Last game with a win over Winthrop, 59-35, 62-27 win over Stoneham. Those two games have been dominating performances by Woburn. Cindy Labissiere with 15 over Winthrop, along with Morrison and McCarthy, the two sophomores with 9 each. Again, that young core shining.
Yeah, I think the one offensive note I would like to make on Woburn is that it hasn't been one star player really shining. It's been a more harmonized offense with each of them contributing in different games. We've seen McCarthy, Labissiere, Hayden, Morrison all sort of lead the team in scoring. It's been a different set of players each game, and I think that only makes this Woburn team more dangerous.
And that's so big for this Woburn team. We're going to go on to center court now for the announcement of the starting lineups and the Star Spangled Banner. We'll come back after the break. And welcome back into the Woburn Public Media Center studios. We have a good matchup for you, Joey. I'm excited for this one. They're going to go with the same starting lineup they've been going with throughout the whole season. With Hannah Surratt coming off that injury, they're going to get her back into the flow of things, and we'll see how it goes.
A couple of those star players also that we mentioned for Wakefield in the starting lineup in Emma Shinney and Emma Quinn as well.
And Emma Quinn, the captain, the one that you mentioned, Joey, the all-tourney team. But it should be very interesting. Two big teams going at it. This will be an important game for both teams, as Woburn's only losses to the number 1 seed St. Mary's, who were in Florida over the break competing. So they are no joke, and this Woburn team is no joke. So let's see what they can do against this Wakefield team as we get the tip-off. Joey.
Labissiere takes it towards the post, now waits for Hayden, who will take an immediate 3, no good. It's an offensive rebound. Back inside, looking for McCarthy was Morrison, but it's to no avail. And number 21, Emma Quinn, loses the ball. Taken away by Labissiere, who drives in for a layup, no. Deflected by Quayle, and out of bounds, staying with Woburn.
And aggressive out of the blocks for Woburn on the offensive and defensive end, right away with a 3 from Hayden, and Labissiere aggressive on defense. Love to see that against a juggernaut opponent like Wakefield.
Labissiere with the side out inbound, waiting. Now floats it up and in, back to McCarthy, who's driving in on the post, tries to spin, loses control, floats it up off the glass, no good. Rebound goes to number 10, Mia Forti, but we've got a whistle as well.
It's going to be a jump ball. Wakefield are going to retain possession, as the next one will go to Woburn. Good effort there by Hayden.
Shinney to inbound the ball back in. Move off of the inbound and across half court. Go the Warriors. It's number 3, Suntkin, who now gets it over to number 24, Calder. Calder to 21, Quinn, and a whistle going the other way, and it's an offensive foul, and Woburn will take over.
It looks like Wakefield are going to play a high press throughout this ball game, as you can see Labissiere and Morrison trying to get the ball.
Off of the tap from Hayden, Labissiere will be the one to take it up. We've seen throughout the year multiple different girls take it up off the inbound for the Tanners, as Labissiere drives in solo. No good, loose ball taken in on the fast break by Wakefield. And now it'll be slowed down. Shinney pump faking on Labissiere.
Good defense here by Labissiere.
14 now back with the ball. Calder back to 40, who's driving in to the corner. Open 3 off the rim, no good. Rebound. Quayle fights for it and gets it. Labissiere back handling the ball now across half court into the post. Morrison floats it up, no good with the left hand, and a rebound by Wakefield.
Good rebounding by both teams. Quayle with that hard rebound there, and the captain from Wakefield drives hard, and that is number 5, Emma Shinney, one of their captains and one of their seniors, who have been impressive for them.
Able to take the contact, and she'll shoot 2 to hopefully break the 0-0 tie.
Woburn are getting good shots with Morrison there, McCarthy before, and Labissiere on the layup. They're just, it's a little trouble for them to convert. Wakefield are a threat on both ends of the floor, as the layup is missed by Shinney there. But yeah, I think if Woburn can convert the shots that they're given, that will help them a lot.
Yeah, I agree with what you've had to say there, Zeke, and I think the paint defense, though, has been good so far for Wakefield, as it'll go off of McCarthy and out of bounds.
Off of a Wakefield player. Interesting. It looked like it was stay Wakefield ball, but they'll give it back to Woburn, and here's that high press you'll see again.
Hayden, off the break, gets it to Labissiere, who will slowly take it across the Tanner logo. Back out now to Morrison, who swings it for Hayden. Hayden back out to the top of the key for McCarthy, who then gives it off to Morrison, who hits the mid-range jumper. That one was pretty.
Beautiful movement off the ball there. Morrison gets to that elbow and puts a nice pass in, as Wakefield are through the blocks here.
Pass inside to 40, the layup's no good. Labissiere trying to run the break now. Over to Morrison, who's open again from the mid-range. This time no good. Offensive rebound back up and a foul.
McCarthy too big in the paint there. Gets the ball, tries to put it back up, and is hacked right away. And that's the threat that McCarthy is in the post.
A strong rebound there and an opportunity for second chance free throws. Second chance points were a major point in another broadcast we'd previously done with the girls varsity team this year. As the front end from McCarthy's good.
And the vocal point we've noticed for Wakefield is Emma Shinnie. She is the ball handler, and she's the most important part of this Wakefield team, just by judging the first 2.5 minutes, of course.
Her season high this year is 28 points.
Impressive.
40 now, taking a three from the corner, off the mark, no good. Or that was Emma Shinnie, excuse me.
Oh no, it looked like Hayden put it off the Wakefield player, but the refs do not believe what we believe, so it'll be Wakefield ball below the basket here.
Quinn will inbound underneath the basket. Shinnie wants the ball. She gets it at the top of the key. Off the screen from Forte, she now drops it off to Quinn, who makes the floater.
Emma Quinn, what a floater there. Gets into the paint off that loose ball and just puts up the simple shot there. As Quayle with the screen here. Morrison, what a floater that was.
Morrison from the mid-range is on point to start the game. And she's the second Lady Tanner to handle the ball so far. 24, Calder dishes it back to Shinnie, who will wait. And now another drive to number 10, Mia Forte, who finds the open layup off the glass.
It just looks like Quayle and McCarthy got caught up there in the paint and got stuck to each other while Shinnie had an open shot there.
Labissiere trots across the timeline, a hard pass inside to Hayden. No good offensive rebound. It's deflected and taken in by Wakefield. And they'll get another possession here. Woburn up 6-4 early.
Halfway through the quarter here.
Driving in on two defenders, off the glass, no good. Rebound Hayden, and she'll take the ball up to get another possession started for the Tanners. She'll dump it off to Morrison, who's looking for an open teammate. It gets out to Quayle on the wing, who's inside for McCarthy. What a pass by Quayle to set up that layup.
And Joey, the thing about Megan Quayle is she can play inside, she can play outside. Of course she's that tall, good player inside, but she can make that pass when she needs to.
Loose ball gathered in by Quinn, who gets it back now to Sunkin, who gets it back across the other way. Number 21, Quinn, who shoots from distance, and that one's good. 8-7 here.
Emma Quinn, that all-tournament player from the Winter Classic. She's doing it all for this team right now.
Morrison with the drive, nice between the legs dribble, and it's out of bounds.
Tried that same exact play, Joey, from before, and didn't look like Wakefield were falling for it. As Riley Morgan, the junior, and Hannah Surratt, the senior captain, are into the game. And as we said, she's been injured throughout the season. Finally getting a chance at home here, as this is an important game for her if she wants to regain that starting spot, Joey.
I think, too, she'll be the good senior leadership off the bench that I think might prove to be a worthy attribute for the Tanners, as it's inside to Quayle, hard off the glass, no good. Rebound, Wakefield.
And then that quality, Joey, I think it's underrated. I think it's very underrated, that quality, to have senior leadership off the bench.
Shinnie passes it outside for another three opportunity. This one's no good and taken in by Quayle. Morrison now driving towards the basket. It's off her leg and going back towards Wakefield.
A little loose with the dribble from Morrison there. But one thing you'll notice about Woburn throughout the start of this game is they like to get out fast. They like to inbound that basketball and get out fast. They don't waste time playing around with the basketball on their own side of the floor.
Savannah Cummings will enter the game for the first time for Wakefield. That's number 13. Sunkin now taking the ball across half court. Shovel pass back towards 21 Quinn. And it's deflected by Labissiere. Does it stay in bounds? No.
There's that typical energy from Labissiere that we all love to see.
She had a multitude of steals in the last stream we did covering this girls varsity team, as the inbound from Sunken now gets in over to Shinny, who drives in, floats it up, and it's good. And a timeout here early by Coach Steve Sullivan, wanting to get his girls back on the right track. Zeke, what have you seen in this first little bit here from the Tanners?
Well, Joey, I think we've seen a lot of the things that I've mentioned, the getting out fast. It's cost them a few turnovers because it is a fast pace against a good team. You play Stoneham and Winthrop, you're not going to get the same amount of skill and pressure that Wakefield is playing, but that's an adjustment that they have to make. And Coach Sullivan, we've known him for years. We believe in a coach like Coach Sullivan to get past that.
That's for sure. I think he's been one of the most respected coaches in this Middlesex League for as long as I've been following Woburn basketball. So I think he knows what needs to get done in order to get his team back on the right track. And hey, you look at it now and they're still only down 1. So not too much to worry about, but you want to just get their chemistry back to where it needs to be. As Labissiere will walk it up towards the Tanner on center court. Waiting for a pass, now gets it outside to Brooke Tuzela, who loses it back court, and it'll go back to Wakefield.
Just a little too sloppy from Woburn right now as a whole.
I think their defense and overall, I think they'll just tighten up as the time goes on. Morrison guarding the ball here. It's Shinny who dishes it off. Now it's a big swing. Everybody touched the ball so far on this possession, and it ends up in a 3 opportunity. No good, taken in by Cindy Labissiere. Almost fought away by number 10, Mia Forti, but Labissiere comes away with it. Hayden thought about a 3, doesn't take it. Inside, what a hard pass, and over the rim and no good was the jumper by Morrison.
Labissiere defensively and offensively with the rebounding skills that she's showed throughout. And here's a steal by Labissiere. Let's see if she can finish on the other end. Uses her body and just short there by Labissiere.
Rebound goes to Cummings, and she will dump it off to number 24, Brooklyn Calder, who will now get it back to Shinny, and a whistle blown. And we've got a traveling violation going against the Warriors, and the Tanners will take back possession with Amber Hayden set to inbound the ball.
And Hayden and Morrison, been a pretty good backcourt for Woburn so far, and it's going to be interesting how Coach Sullivan implements Hannah Surratt into that.
Labissiere, another nice pass, this time to McCarthy, who finds an open Hayden off the rim, still inbounds, taken in by Labissiere on the offensive boards, and her layup is good.
Good movement by Labissiere. Calm and composed, even with pressure down below.
Now back the other way for the Wakefield Warriors. A nice move. Now the defense by Quayle causes a foul.
That was an impressive move there by the Wakefield player. And number 3, Shea Sunken, who actually put up 12 points in the last game against Arlington.
Her Sunken's first is good from the line, making the score tied at 10 here with 1:03 to go in the first quarter. The second one is no good, taken in by Hayden, and she'll try to start the fast break. Morrison now with the dribble, picks it up, gets it back over to Hayden, who swings it for Labissiere, who thought about taking the 3. Back to Hayden, back to Cyndia, who drives in on a triple team, all deflected and fought for. Morrison ends up with it, but her foot was on the line, and the Warriors will take back possession.
Joey, I was almost jumping up and down. The amount of missed opportunities and runners that Woburn missed there with Morrison, Quayle all wide open, and they just struggle to lift up their heads and find them.
Morrison missed the steal on the press. She's guarding Shinny, who now gets it over to Cummings, who can't find an open teammate. Back to Shinny, who cross-court pass. Back to Emma now. She'll wait, ask for a screen from Cummings. Here comes Cummings. She's got an open 3 now on a miscommunication, and she knocks it down.
That's a big shot from Wakefield there as they bring it to a 3-point game with 8 seconds left in the first quarter.
One final opportunity here for the Tanners, and the 3 by Hayden is blocked. What a block there from Brooklyn Calder, the sophomore, who's gotten some great time to start this game, coming through with a huge defensive play there. 2.2 still left on the clock, though.
Woburn need to be patient here.
McCarthy open off the backboard, no good. She got the opportunity, but still a tough shot with only 2.2 left on the clock. And through the first quarter, we have the score with the Wakefield Warriors 13 and your hometown Woburn Tanners 10. Zeke, what are your thoughts here on that first quarter?
Joey, I think they've been playing well, but the standards of this team are so high based on what we've watched throughout this season that they can get better. There's open shots that they're missing. There's sloppiness off the dribble, and they can get better. You know, this team is so good, and we expect so much on them that it can bring out a lot of pressure on them, but throughout this first quarter, they can do much better.
And I think that's almost a definite that there will be improvement, as you said, because of mostly the higher standards that the Lady Tanners hold themselves to. And I think maybe a little bit of underestimating happening, but you have to remember that this Wakefield Warriors team right now stands at 6-0 and just found themselves on top of a tournament, the North Reading Holiday Tournament to be more specific. As we're just about set and ready to go post the team discussions out of the quarter, it'll be Hayden to take this side out.
And some stats here from that first quarter. Morrison and McCarthy leading Woburn with 4 points both, and Shinny and Quinn leading Wakefield with 5 points both, and both with a 3 of their own.
Hayden cross-court pass to Labissiere. Hayden is open. No one finds her.
There's an example of that last play that I was talking about, Joey.
Open again with both of her hands up, but the contested layup's no good. The second opportunity is blocked. And overall, just a missed opportunity there by the Tanners offense. Amber Hayden found herself wide open multiple times within that possession. The ball, unfortunately, though, didn't find her. This time the ball finds an open Morrison. Her mid-range is no good. Cindy Labissiere fighting for the rebound. She gets it, but a whistle is blown, and Wakefield will take possession.
Yeah, Joey, I understand what Morrison did there was such good movement. Just missed that shot there, and that's one of the open shot issues that Woburn are struggling with.
Wakefield gets by the press, and it's a left-handed, wide-open mid-range jumper, and it's a 5-point lead here early in the second for the Warriors. Double team comes on Labissiere. Now it's back from Morrison. Labissiere back to Morrison. Morrison waiting, swinging it back to Hayden. Hayden back to Morrison, who shoots from distance. No good.
And Wakefield are playing a zone on defense right now, and that's hopefully Coach Sullivan knows that and can adjust from that.
Shinny, a hard chest pass to the corner, driving in, and it hits Nylon. Still inbound play for the Wakefield Warriors, and another whistle is blown.
And great defense by Woburn there, as they'll retain possession. Both McCarthy and Quayle just keeping their hands up continuously to cause that.
Labissiere wanting to get this possession started slowly, hoping to get the Lady Tanners back in a groove. To the wing, back to Labissiere. Thought about another open 3, doesn't take it. The zone defense working so far for the Warriors. The open 3, no good there from Amber Hayden. And a deep pass towards the inside post, floated up, no good. Rebound goes to Quayle. She finds Morrison in the elbow, who goes back outside to Amber Hayden, the senior captain, who then dumps it off for Quayle. Quayle Morrison, who gets it and driving it in. Foul called.
That's the patience that you want from Woburn there, as they just took their time, found the option, and Morrison with a hard drive got hacked, and now is at the free throw line for a potential cutting it to 3 points.
Morrison's first is good, and the first points of the second quarter for the Tanners.
That will move her scoring total to 5 points now, as Captain Hannah Surratt is back into the game.
Second one, no good. An offensive rebound by McCarthy, and she gets an open layup off the missed free throw.
Well, that worked out for them.
Quickly ahead now goes Sunken. She dumps it off. Now it's in the hands of number 5, Emma Shinney, who misses the 3, and it goes out of bounds.
It's surprising how far off that 3 was, Emma Shinney, because she made that first 3 for Wakefield, so you'd assume that she'd be a threat at the 3-point line, as Morrison and Surratt will try to break the press here.
Morrison finds herself open with some space now. Closely guarded by Shinney as she crosses half court. Using the dribble moves again, a Euro step sort of move.
Yeah, I liked that Euro step sort of move, Joey. And on the other hand, Joey, on the press, Coach Sullivan always has a plan, and that crossing movement helped them to break that press.
Morrison used sort of a scoop dribble that I was trying to describe on that last play. It's a 5-second call, and the Wakefield Warriors will take over possession as the Tanners were unable to get a inbound off. Closely guarded now is Shinney. She gets past the press. Finding a teammate now, it's Quinn, who's double teamed by Labissiere. Labissiere's man is Calder, who now gets it back to Shinney. Fast moving ball movement from the Warriors, but it's a travel. And the shot from Quinn won't count, even though it didn't go in either way. But
And Coach Sullivan, always a man with a plan. You know, sometimes players in Woburn talk about their coaches. They're not too fond of them, but every player is fond of Coach Sullivan and talks about him with a lot of respect.
Morrison now back on the wing with the ball above her head, looking for an open teammate. Gets it to Tuzolo, who finds Hayden. Cross court to the corner. Back to Morrison. This time Hayden is found in the corner. It sails over the hoop. No good. Rebound Wakefield. 24 Calder driving in with the lefty scoop. No good. Offensive rebound is also no good. Morrison went for the save, but it'll go out of bounds, as she was out of bounds, and it'll stay with Wakefield.
And Joey, defensively there, Woburn need to be careful. I saw about 4 Woburn players try to hack in, and they luckily didn't get a foul, but eventually stepped out of bounds.
Inbound pass goes to Shinney on the wing. She wants to get her open shot. She gets it. This time it's a 3, no good. Rebound fought for, and it'll go out of bounds and stay with Wakefield again. Coach Sullivan is distraught with that call there.
I think distraught with the refs and McCarthy. Wanted McCarthy to bring in that ball stronger.
The inbound under the basket, inside cut, and it's an easy layup for the Wakefield Warriors to get their lead back up to 4.
Sullivan shakes his head there, as it was a really good setup from Wakefield and a good play overall.
Hayden overhead back to Morrison. Morrison now wants it to be swung back to her from Morgan. That is almost saved again.
And Woburn need to be careful with how much they just chuck up threes, Joey. And they have some patient possessions where they can go and drive and get a shot and get fouled or convert, but they need to continue that. They can't just chuck up threes so continuously and so frequently.
Calder inbounds it to Shinney, who's tightly guarded by Labissiere. She has to spin back and find Forty, who will shoot a corner 3. No good. Rebound goes to Hayden. She wants to go fast. Morrison will take it up inside to McCarthy, who's trying to use her strength to get a good angled layup. No good. The rebound will go to Quinn, who will then dump it off to Shinney. Back to Quinn now. She's driving inside and stolen by McCarthy, but a whistle's blown.
Looks to be an offensive foul on Wakefield, as Quayle took the charge there.
Tanners will get the ball anyway. We've seen two main people so far bring up the ball for the Tanners. It has either been Cindy Labissiere or sophomore McKenna Morrison.
A few good moves there by Labissiere.
This time the ball does find Morrison off the pass from Labissiere. Hayden above her head, back to Morrison, who gets it to McCarthy. Back to Hayden, back to Morrison, back to McCarthy. Labissiere was open. It doesn't get to her. The mid-range from McCarthy is no good. And back the other way with speed go the Warriors, who will now get it back to Shinny, who's on the elbow, guarded by Cyndia. Tipped pass, but it's taken in by Forte, and now back to the top of the key goes Sunskin. The drive, another whistle, and another travel. The third travel called early here tonight on the Wakefield Warriors, and the Tanners will get another free possession.
And there'll be a timeout called here by the Wakefield Warriors. And Joey, I want to highlight the last possession. The last possession, you laughed because how many names you were saying throughout that possession. And it was great ball movement and continuously moving that basketball. But Wakefield, it didn't look like that defense was going to budge.
As much of the passing opportunities we saw from each of the Lady Tanners there was still a lot of standing still, which is something I know Coach Sullivan doesn't really like to see. As the more movement off the ball a team gets, the more likely they are to find an open shot.
And I don't want to compare high school players to professionals, but the best players are the ones that move best off the ball as well as they do on the ball. For example, Stephen Curry. I'm not comparing anyone here to Stephen Curry, but that's just an example of how off-ball movement can generate points and open lanes for their teammates and for themselves as well.
With 2:44 left to go here in the second quarter, Amber Hayden inbounds it to McKenna Morrison, who will once again slowly take it up, and the Tanners will try to get into an offensive flow. The overhead pass has been used a lot so far. It's a corner three from McCarthy, who's off the mark, and a rebound by Forte.
Patience is key for this Woburn team. They need to understand that.
Sunken back outside. The drive on Hayden by Forte is no good, and Hayden ends up with the rebound. She'll get to take it up on the fast break, finds McCarthy. McCarthy has to wait for teammates. It's a mid-range from Morrison. It's off the mark and right to Sunken. Taken at the top of the key now by Shinny, who will then get it over to number 24, Brooklyn Calder, who then gets it back over to Shinny. She's been a major handler of the ball so far for the Warriors. She'll drive now, spin back, finds Sunken, who gets it to the corner for Forte, whose three is good. Great ball movement on that entire possession for the Warriors, and just like that, they find themselves up 7 with less than 90 seconds to go.
And Wakefield are just hitting their threes right now, which Woburn are struggling with, as another bad possession from Woburn goes there as Wakefield are on the break.
The layup from Labissiere went off the bottom of the backboard. Forte again now over to Shinny, who will drive in on her own, find Cummings, who will get contact and will go out of bounds and stay with the Warriors.
Joey, something I'd always say when the Boston Celtics were in that little stretch of bad basketball about 2 weeks ago, something I always say is, if you're not going to hit your threes, go to the hoop. Go to the hoop. And I believe the solution to this not such bad of a deficit from Woburn here.
Sunken, who gets it inside to her teammate.
I believe that's the solution for this basketball team in the second half and this last minute of this first half.
Inside to McCarthy, who's airmailed the pass a little bit, but she gets it back now to Labissiere, who wants to shoot a three. She's off the mark, rebounded by Quayle, but she loses control, and it'll go to Wakefield. Sloppy play has been the major topic of discussion here for the Tanners early, but it's a steal by Morrison, and that layup right there could get the Tanners' energy back where it needs to be.
And wow, head coach Jason Pavey for Wakefield was just pacing after that pass. That's the level of expectations that the Wakefield coach has for his players with their record being 6-0. It wouldn't be great for them to lose that winning streak, but against a Woburn team like this, those things can happen as they show such energy when they're right on the defensive end, and their press is just premier when it's on point.
Yeah, I think as the better you get, the higher your standard becomes, as you said, Zeke, and I think the Warriors might even be outperforming what they might have thought they could do at the beginning of this season, and I think they want to keep that going for as long as they can.
Oh yeah, for sure, Joey. And these are arguably the two best teams in the Middlesex County. So this is competing for a Middlesex County spot, like a Middlesex County championship. For them, for Woburn, the Liberty, and for Wakefield, the Freedom.
The most recent rankings we've seen have the Tanners ranked 9th, as we have a tie-up and a jump ball.
27 seconds remaining in the first half.
It'll be an under the basket inbound for Wakefield. It's Cummings moving off the ball, trying to get herself open. It's deflected and taken in by number 12, but it's stolen quickly away by number 14, Anna Surratt, who gets it out across to Labissiere, who loses control, and it's almost saved.
There's some more energy on defense. That's what you want to see more of from the Tanners. If their shooting's not going well, then the defense has to come up. Defense wins games.
Surratt will inbound the ball. It's to Morrison on the elbow, who wants to get it all the way back to Surratt. Surratt will shoot a three off the mark, tipped by McCarthy and into the hands of number 24, Alder, who tries to get it to a teammate. It's on the floor. McCarthy ends up with it, and another whistle for a jump ball. The officials point in opposite directions, but I believe this one's going to go to Woburn.
Should be Woburn because
with 1.4 on the clock.
Remember, the first one went to Wakefield, so 1 second left. Let's see what Woburn can conjure up here.
Surratt pump fakes. It's deflected by Quayle, who throws it off of 40, but with no time on the clock, we will go to halftime with the score: Wakefield 22, Woburn 15.
And we will talk about some stats when we get back, and this week in Tanner Sports when we get back in about 3 minutes. So stay tuned, and we'll see you in about a few minutes. And we're back for This Week in Tanner Sports. We usually do it on the morning announcements. We're going to do something new today. We're going to do it at halftime of this girls' contest. But let's talk about some other teams in Woburn. Let's start with the hockey. You have some information on the girls' hockey team.
The girls' hockey team picked up their most recent win against Wilmington Stoneham by a final score of 4-3. And their second most recent game was an unfortunate 5-2 loss against Lincoln Sudbury. And then I think another thing to always look out for with the girls hockey team is their young depth. You've seen 8th graders like Savannah Powers get on the score sheet for girls hockey early in the season, and then you've got still some of that leadership from last year's team as well.
And Joey, well, let's go to boys hockey. Logan Roderick, 20 plus saves. Add on to the Powers brothers shining with Jackson Powers, the star senior. We know all about him, his goal scoring ability, along with Avery Powers, his little freshman brother. You didn't think that there could be more talent in that family, but there is. So you got the Powers brothers, Roderick, and their record is just looking so good. That's one of the best teams in Woburn, if not the best team in Woburn so far. And I want to bring it to arguably another best team in Woburn for sports-wise is the girls' track team. The girls' track team led by girls like Kayla Bubak, like Grace Bautista, like Camille Connors. They've been impressive to start this season with a record of 3-0 with wins against Lexington, Reading, and Winchester. And the boys hockey team, 0-3, but they're starting to find their footing. They performed well against Reading in that first meet, had a couple injuries in those next two meets, but Belmont and Arlington, it looks like they could win those two meets and go 2-3, but it'll be interesting to see. And Joe, you have more information on the boys basketball team who just played.
Boys basketball, as you said, and they just got done with their matchup against Wakefield. And as we know, overall it's been a struggle. They battled out that hard-fought win here on Bub Media Center against Stoneham to pick up their first win of the season. And as time goes on, I think you're going to look more towards the leadership of Brett Tuzolo and even the junior and JJ Merlane, who's been able to show energy throughout the games thus far, even when they're not performing as well as they would have liked.
And thank you, Joey, and that's it for This Week in Tanner Sports. We'll see you in about a minute or two for the start of the second half. Let's go Tanners. Did we lose? I'm going to text my brother real quick. His trash-ass team's on the bus home. Yo. What score?
Back here for the start of the second half between the Lady Tanners and the Wakefield Warriors, with the score going into this final 16 minutes 22-15 in favor of the Warriors. Now the inbound pass will go to number 5, Emma Shinny, and she will throw one up, and it's battled for. Amber Hayden's there for the Tanners, and it's a jump ball going the way of the Tanners.
And Joey, these two teams probably have a lot of nerves looking at each other's records and seeing how big this game is for the Middlesex League.
Morrison getting it started here. It's inside to Quayle, who finds an open Hayden, who shoots a 3. Off the mark, no good. Offensive rebound. Cindy Labissiere back outside to Morrison, who takes a hard drive. She's found a triple team into McCarthy, who takes an open mid-range. That one rattles around and it's no good.
A good pursuit there by Labissiere and the other girls trying to get a shot. That was a good shot there by McCarthy.
Quinn pump fakes the 3, doesn't take it. Now about to the wing. Over to 24 Calder, who's guarded by her fellow 24 Amber Hayden. Now back out to number 21 Quinn, who finds an open 3, no good. Rebound Labissiere. Trying to add some pace to the game here early in the third for the Tanners. Is off the hands of McCarthy and intercepted by the Warriors. Back the other way for 2+1.
That's just good drive there by that Wakefield player, and that's the star there, Emma Shinny, who's just played so well throughout this game with a 3 and just continues to dominate. And it doesn't look like Woburn are able to handle as a rebound here. And Labissiere takes the ball, driving up court. Labissiere with a few moves throws it up, and she will get called. And looks like that's number 24, Brooklyn Calder, that will get called for the blocking foul as Labissiere heads to the line, Joey.
Labissiere had Morrison running with her there, and I feel like it might have been the better decision to dump it off. But either way, Labissiere will get the opportunity to shoot 2 and cut into this 9-point lead as the front end is no good.
And Joey, interesting here as Coach Sullivan brings all of his players, besides Labissiere, of course, into a meeting during that first free throw, just to get them back all inclined with this game and how important it is as the second one is good.
Hard press there from Labissiere guarding Shinny, but now it's over to number 3, Sunken, who we now have a whistle blown. Sunken did have the ball, and it'll be a side out taken in by Calder, who will take the inbound pass.
And I want to know, Joey, this team is really young. A few freshmen, a bunch of sophomores, and they're good from top to bottom.
Shinny, who gets it to Sunken, but it's blocked and taken in by McCarthy, who tries to start the break with Quayle, but is stripped away by Shinny. A heady play there from Shinny to knock the ball out of the grasp of Quayle.
And McCarthy, with her head up, ready to make that pass, throws a dime to Quayle as Quayle just can't finish there. But a great pass by McCarthy.
Morrison knew she was open, got it. Now McCarthy will take the mid-range, and she knocks it down.
Cuts it to 6 as 3-0 run from the Tanners to start off.
Quinn driving in on Quayle, out to the corner. It's the lefty. It rolls around and it's no good. That was number 13, Savannah Cummings, who's off the mark there. Morrison in the mid-range to Labissiere, who finds Hayden. 3, no, off the mark. Still battled for and taken in by Morrison, who floated up, and that one's good. That little conference there from Coach Sullivan may have worked, and the offense has turned it on a little bit here.
And Joey, you want to get McKenna Morrison into those positions with her float game in her mid-range.
To the corner, it's number 24, Calder, who misses again from 3.
Here's Morrison.
Inside for McCarthy, she's battling for it. And out of bounds, staying with Woburn. Hayden will take a break.
Here comes Surratt back into the game. She seems to be getting a lot of playing time as you want to incline her back into it.
Surratt will inbound underneath the basket over her head. Now gets it inside to McCarthy, who takes another open mid-range. This one's no good. Quayle was there to fight for the rebound. and it'll actually go off of her defender, and the Woburn Tanners will retain possession.
Jumbo set here off the inbound. Tuzalo.
The lefty hook is no good, and Shinny will throw it across, up court rather. Now Forty handles it at the elbow, and she's fouled, and she'll shoot 2.
Mia Forti, another important player for this team, hit a 3 earlier in the game, and she is that tertiary ball handler after the 2 Emmas, Emma Shinny and Emma Quinn, as she goes to the line for 2, Joey.
Looking to get the lead to 6 if she can. The first one's no good. Teammates come in for a high five to get the energy back up for their teammate, and the second one is no good, rebounded by Quilly. Tanners with a chance to get it within 1 possession. Labissiere to Tuzalo. Tuzalo getting some action for one of the few times tonight. Surrette's pass to Morrison, back to Surrette, who will jab step, throwing it back to Labissiere, who makes a nice dribble towards the paint, out of bounds, and it'll stay with Woburn.
And some more good patience there by Woburn. They drove to the basket, which is also a positive, which I noted in the first half. But they weren't ready to force up a shot there.
Surrette with the under the basket inbound inside to McCarthy, using her strength. Layup no good. A big battle. This one ends up with Wakefield, however, and now they'll try to press it ahead with Shinny with speed across half court. Calder back to Shinny. Shinny driving. All of the Woburn Tanners converge, but an obvious whistle blown. And it'll be an underneath the basket inbound, this time for Wakefield.
Joey, I don't know if you could say obvious there. I thought all 3 Tanners played good defense. I thought Hannah Surrette stayed with her gal.
The inbound is taken in by Calder. She'll pump fake, now drive on Hayden, and another travel.
Wakefield, that might be one of their very few flaws, is they travel a lot.
They've given away multiple possessions because of travel because of the traveling violation. In the first half, the Tanners weren't able to take advantage. Let's see if that changes here in the second half. Labissiere to the corner for Quayle, whose hard pass to Morrison in the paint, or in the mid-range, however, is off the mark. Morrison back to McCarthy, who spins, draws a foul, and will go to the line.
And a lot of movement you notice on that play by Coach Sullivan. Set a few screens for Hayden coming around the corner. She didn't like the option there. Found Labissiere, who found McCarthy in the paint, was aware of her surroundings, and spun into that shot and got hacked. And the first free throw is good, Joey.
We also mentioned the off-ball movement, which has seemed to improve early here with 3:52 left to go in the third.
And being down 9 at one point in the first half and by 7 in the second half.
Now the Tanners find themselves only down 3 with Wakefield in possession of the ball after this inbound. Quinn, closely guarded by Labissiere. Quinn gets by. Labissiere from behind. It's a push foul on 23. And Wakefield will take the side out inbound.
And that 23 is Cynthia Labissiere. She is very energetic on defense and just a little too energetic on that one play.
Shinny will look for, she points it out to Quinn, who goes behind half court to take in the ball, and now it'll be a drive from Quinn, who gets it back to the wing. Now outside for Sutkin, inside to Cummings, and it's off the leg of number 24, Brooklyn Calder, and the Tanners will get possession back on another turnover in as many possessions for the Wakefield Warriors.
Let's see what the Tanners can conjure up here. as a 3 would tie it, 2 would cut it the deficit to 1.
Morrison looked open there for a second. It doesn't get to her. Surratt handling the ball, and it's stolen by Shinny. What a way to read the passing lane as she was looking for Morrison was Surratt. Now back the other way goes Wakefield. It's inside to Sutkin, and it's battled for and taken in by Shannon McCarthy. Will look ahead. It's tapped by Emma Quinn back to a fellow teammate, and
Joey, that was so close to being another key Shannon McCarthy pass, but just short.
over to number 10, Forte, who finds it in the corner for Sutkin. Into the post it goes for Cummings, back outside of the wing.
Good defense.
Now it'll find Shinny again, and it's like you said, Zeke, it's been shut down so far this possession on defense for the Tanners. The floater's no good, and it's off the mark and rebounded by McCarthy. And now we've got a fast break trying to go, and it'll trickle out of bounds, but stay with the Tanners.
And just great defense there by the Tanners defense, all staying with their hands up and just staying mature on defense, which is a big part of what Coach Sullivan preaches.
Surratt will take a seat, and Quayle is back in the game here. Morrison 3 off the mark, no good. Quayle tried to fly in for the rebound, but she couldn't get it there. Now it's deep inside to number 13, Cummings. That one's off the mark and taken in by Morrison, who struggles with the between the legs dribble but gains back possession. Hayden on the wing where she likes to spend a lot of her time. Now Morrison driving in, mid-range shot no good. Recovered by Wakefield.
Low scoring affair so far.
1:40 to go here in the third quarter as Quinn driving around the top of the key. Now it's back outside for Forte, who's open on a miscommunication on defense from the Tanners. They get lucky on a miss there, and Hayden is the one to take it up as number 21, Quinn, hits the deck on a nice move by Hayden. But Labissiere finds a floater now, and she's got it within one. An interesting possession there with a body hitting the floor for the Tanners. But all in all, it ends up in a basket.
And Joey, the low-scoring affair is credit to both defenses. It's been difficult to get shots off from both teams, and they've had to work.
Labissiere with tough pressure. Shinny runs into her teammate in Quinn. Now she finds it out to Calder, who will take a few steps in from the corner, closely guarded by Amber Hayden, the senior captain. And it's a 5th travel to my count so far this game for the Wakefield Warriors. And the Tanners will get possession back, and any basket here will give them the lead.
Traveling home, it looks like. Wakefield just can't stop the travel right now. And Woburn hopefully can continue to capitalize on that with 45 seconds left in the third quarter.
Morrison with less than a minute to go now, closely guarded by Shinny, looking to get the lead back for the Tanners. Amber Hayden bounces back up for the 3. That one's good! The first big shot of the night for the Woburn Tanners comes from a corner 3 from Amber Hayden after she makes her defender look silly, and the Tanners have a 26-24 lead.
Silly indeed, Joey, and they've been working on that 3 all night as a 3 from Wakefield fails, and they've been working on that 3 all night, and finally the big moment they hit it. As Morrison continues to fight for the basketball, the energy has just brought up so high. All the momentum is on Woburn's side right now, Joey.
26-24 the score. The Tanners will retain possession off the hard defense on the Morrison dribble. It'll be Hayden to inbound the ball with Quayle, McCarthy, Morrison, and Labissiere also on the floor. It'll go to Cyndia, who's driving on her defender. The hard layup is no good. Rebounded by Emma Quinn, who then gets it to the fellow Emma Shinny, who shoots it from half court, and it's off the backboard and no good. As the final seconds of the third quarter tick away, your score 26 to Woburn and 24 for Wakefield. Tanners go into the final 8 minutes with a 2-point lead.
Joey, where did that come from, man? I mean, just non-stop pressure on defense, continuously with the patience they showed on offense, finding that open shot, and that Amber Hayden 3 right there it was a quick move, but it was a wide open three, and you'd expect Hayden to make that three, as she showed in the playoff games last year, as she was one of the best shooters, if not the best shooter on that basketball team. And Amber Hayden continues to impress from the three-point line, as Woburn just continue to work hard and play hard, as that's basically Coach Sullivan's motto. Joey?
8 minutes to go, but this game is nowhere near over with the Tanners only up 2 as we head into.
And some third quarter stats. One for 3 from the three-point line, Woburn are. And Wakefield, 7 points. 1 for 13, my fault, from the three-point line, Woburn are. As, like I said, finally getting one to go towards the end there. And Shinny with 7 points, leading it with 5 points, but an impressive 8 rebounds.
As I said, 8 minutes to go here. Calder will take the side out inbound to start the quarter for the Warriors. It'll be Shinny to handle the ball, guarded as she has been all night by Labissiere, who now gets it back to Calder. Does Shinny? Oh, a whistle is blown off the ball, and it's another travel.
Jeez, Joey, jeez. I don't want to make fun of him, Joey. I don't want to make fun of him. It's getting really hard to not make fun of the 6th travel.
Quilly will bounce pass it over to McKenna Morrison to start the first possession of the fourth quarter for the Tanners, and it's stolen on a nice pick there by Shinny, and Calder will take it back up now, the southpaw.
Just a sneaky pickpocket there by Shinny.
Quinn using her pivot foot to her advantage, keeping the ball alive. Now driving in is number 24, Calder. Back out to Quinn, who's looking for a shot, doesn't have it. Out to Shinny, who calls out a play with her hand. Driving in, floats it up, no good. Rebound, Quayle. And Shinny hits the deck and still is yet to get up slowly, and it's inside to Quayle. Not Quayle, excuse me. That's Surrett, and that one was no good. Oh, and Shinny's back the other way as she was still dealing with the injury, and that one's no good.
Wow, Joey. Both teams had a chance to make big baskets on wide open layups, and both failed. That's just the tension and nervousness some of these players have in such a big game like this for the Middlesex League.
26-24 still. Labissiere in the opposite paint, walking this ball up across the Tanner on the timeline. Oh, and it's another steal. This one by Shinny again, but she blew the layup on the other end. Cindy Labissiere back the other way with a free possession. McCarthy takes a three. No good. Rebound by Quinn. And oh my goodness, how did Shinny manage to miss that layup?
Shinny, their most impressive player so far. You didn't think she'd miss that. She had no... Labissiere basically gave up. And
that one goes out of bounds, and somehow it ends up back in the favor of the Tanners.
like I said, Joey, the Tanners just have all the momentum right now. Everything seems to be going their way.
Hayden didn't have to do much there, but she gets the ball back for her team. Morrison will slowly walk it up after the dribble handoff from Labissiere. Labissiere on a cut. Oh my goodness, what a play off the screen from McCarthy.
And I promise you, Joey, with that height, Labissiere will never miss a layup. I've never seen it, and I don't think I will.
Calder, bounce pass to number 3, Sunkin, and now it's back the other way across court. The 3 is off the mark, just off the backboard, rolled around and no good. Morrison slowly taking it up now. Labissiere with some open space, the Euro step off the glass, no good. Rebound by Shinny. Labissiere slowly getting up. The Tanners still have to defend outside the 24 Calder, and a whistle was blown.
So much action here, Joey, and in the final quarter of this basketball game. We expected this, Joey. We expected this coming in. Two high caliber offenses and high caliber defenses just going at it. It's like a heavyweight battle. One throws a jab, one throws one right back. 28-24, and right now Woburn's winning this round of the battle, and it's just going so well since halftime for Woburn.
The teams will get a chance to conference here with 5:24 left remaining in regulation, with the Tanners up 28-24. And I think right now the Tanners, like you said, Zeke, have all the momentum in the world, and they don't really have to change up a ton, but you always want to keep that foot on the gas and not let a team back into a game.
And Joey, at the end of the first quarter, it was Morrison and McCarthy with 4 points each. Now, towards the end of this game, it's still Morrison and McCarthy with 9 points each now, as they've just performed so well. And McCarthy has been just been great in and around the post, but Morrison with that floater, you almost want to give her a floater because she'll make it throughout this game. The mid-range, the floater, not a three, maybe step one more foot inside the three-point line and she'll make it. It's just how this game has gone for Woburn, despite that one three-pointer, of course. But that's just how it's been for the Woburn Tanners girls basketball team so far.
Shinny, the one to inbound underneath the basket. It'll go to Sudkin, who now swings it for Calder, and it's back to the main offense. Shinny, who now gets it over to number 10, 40. Every girl has been able to touch the ball in this possession for the Warriors. Off the pivot foot comes a pass from Shinny, and now she's driving the other way off the glass, and the layup's good.
Great move there by Shinny. Just drove right past Cindy Labissieres. It looked effortless for Shinny.
Morrison, the one with the ball at the top of the key. She loses it again. Another nice hand move by Shinny, and the Wakefield Warriors will get possession off the turnover from McKenna Morrison.
And Joey, we wrote in the notes, Emma Shinny, obvious star player, and those notes could not be more spot on. Emma Shinny has been a great player for this team, but let's not forget Mia Forti, who has 5 points so far and 8 rebounds. She's a presence in the paint, and it's been difficult for McCarthy, Quayle, Labissiere to deal with her all night.
There was indeed a foul called on that last play, and it's a 1-and-1 for Sunken. The front end is good. As you mentioned in the last stream, 7 fouls equals the 1-and-1, and then the 10th foul by either team is the double bonus and an automatic 2. Both are good by Sunken.
And it looks to be a timeout for Woburn here, as we will go with 4:48 left, and we will welcome you back into the Woburn Public Media Center studios. 4:48 left, Joey. How would you like Coach Sullivan to approach this last 4 minutes, 48 seconds?
I think you just need to keep the offense going, but the major point right now is this game could really go either way. Tied with less than 5 minutes to go. It's almost like this game is 0-0 in the sense that it's whoever is able to play best and play the most cohesive in the final 4:48.
And Joey, the momentum that Woburn had so far, Wakefield were able to silence a little bit of that. 4 points off the back half of their last timeout. And both coaches, like we said about the heavyweight battle between these two teams, both coaches throwing blows at each other. It's just impressive to see these two skilled coaches and skilled teams going at it, as 4:48 left in this massive game.
Hayden will pass it off to Labissiere, who will slowly take it up the court, not wanting to rush it at all with plenty of time left. McCarthy now on the top of the key for one of the few times tonight. Over to Hayden on the wing, who backs it out to the corner.
There's that patience, Joey.
Labissiere at the free throw line inside to McCarthy, who gets a nice spin and a left-handed layup off the glass. Man, was that pretty.
Yeah, Joey, the patience to find McCarthy in the paint and trust her spin move, and she made that spin move and got into open space.
Calder now inside. 2 defenders there for Woburn. It goes back out to Shinny. Guarded by Labissiere. She floats it up off the glass. No good. Rebound is there. And it's Labissiere who will get it. Inside pass to Morrison. A beautiful pass to McCarthy. And she hits her second shot in a row. And the Tanners find themselves up 4 on the strength of 4 consecutive points from Shannon McCarthy.
And those are those 2 young girls, Morrison and McCarthy. And McCarthy will put her total up to 13 points on the night. Just impressive.
Inside to Forte, who's closely guarded and stolen away. But a foul call as McCarthy may have gotten a hold of Forte there.
And it's actually going to be a jump ball, and it will stay at Woburn basketball. So that would mean the next jump ball would go to Wakefield.
Labissiere will take it up again. She gets it across the timeline. Looked at Morrison, now keeps it for herself. Outside to Hayden. Hayden 3 again. That one's good. That'll increase the lead to 7 on a huge shot, and it's the second 3 from Amber Hayden.
And Joey, you finally start to hear that loud fan section from the Tanners, and just beautiful shot by Hayden there. 2 threes on the night. She is just so impressive.
Quinn with the pass inside to Cummings, and Cummings will go to the line. Cummings finishing up her routine, and the first one is good. Lead cut now down to 6 with just 3:05 remaining here. That one rattles in and out and is taken in strongly by Quayle.
Strong indeed, Joey. And let's see what the Tanners look to do here. Quick 3 by Morrison. Don't think that was the right approach to that. You want to take some time off the clock with a 6-point lead and 3 minutes left.
Calder now getting it back out towards the wing, driving in. It's back to Shinny, who thought about shooting it, now thinks better of it. Now Quinn driving in on McCarthy. That one's no good. Nice defense there by Shannon McCarthy. Quayle, who gets the rebound. No, it's thrown in and stolen inside the paint. And high pressure there by the Tanners, but the Wakefield Warriors escape. And Shinny now will reset the play for Wakefield. It's a screen coming from Calder, who's driving inside off the roll. That layup's no good. Rebounded by Labissiere. 2:12 to go and a whistle's blown.
And Joey, it's going to be interesting to see the 2 lineups that Wakefield and Woburn put on the court, as we've seen for most of the night. Shinny, Forte, Sunken, Quinn, and those are the players we've seen most of the night for Wakefield. But there's also been Savannah Cummings out there, so let's see what Coach Pavey puts on the floor, as it'll be interesting to Woburn, but I wouldn't be surprised if they just put out the starting lineup. It would be difficult. It would be hard to ask Hannah Surratt to go out there and her first game back at home and perform at a high level at this stage. But we know she can do it later in the season, but definitely not tonight.
I think for Wakefield, we could also see the likes of Brooklyn Calder out on the floor in that 2 or 3 spot. Or she's also, as we saw in that last possession, has the ability to set the pick and run the screen and roll with a guard, such as Shinny. Coach Sullivan finishes up the huddle, and the girls are ready to go back out there and finish out this final 2:12, as they will go in with a 6-point lead by a score of 35-29. We mentioned the high-powered offenses at the beginning of the broadcast, but it's been the opposite, the strong defenses from both sides. As Hayden will pass it off to Labissiere, and it's a set play off the inbound to get spacing correct for the Tanners. Morrison with a hard drive. Hayden in the corner inside to McCarthy, who's looking for that spin again, but it's a cut this time from Labissiere, who makes the layup off the glass.
And the patience, like I keep mentioning, Joey, they find McCarthy. You think McCarthy's going to use that premier spin move and get into the paint, but no, you see Labissiere cutting that off-the-ball movement.
Shinny moving with the ball herself. Now it's over to Forte, who takes a three. That one's good. A big shot from the hands of Mia Forte. And now Shinny coming from the press. That one is avoided by the Tanners. Labissiere across the timeline, driving in, floats it up off the glass. Battled for and taken in by Wakefield.
And that three in stock will keep Wakefield in it.
Hayden coming on the big defensive pressure there. She's looking for it to stay with to go back to Woburn, but it will not. Coach Sullivan ended up with the ball there, and
he was just praying to the refs, just praying.
Calder will inbound it to Shinny, who will slowly take it up across the timeline with only 1:06 to go now. She'll drive in. Hard contact and a foul called. That is the 9th foul on the Tanners.
And Quayle just stepping in there just a second too late to stop that play from happening, as she will get called for the blocking foul. And here's Emma Shinny for 2 massive free throws as she sinks the first one.
She was quick and ready to go on that first one, and shows why. Nothing but nylon.
4-point game here. Shinny to make it 3. And no, Shannon McCarthy with the rebound.
Maybe a big missed free throw there as it finds an open Morrison. Quayle was open, but it's undercut by number 24 Calder, but there was a foul called.
That was so risky by Morrison there, Joey. You want to slow the tempo down with 57.8 seconds left on the clock.
Tanner's lucky to still have the ball with McCarthy. The inbound to Morrison. That one's deflected again. We'll see what the referees decide, and it'll go to Wakefield, and it's a turnover. That one could prove to be costly, and almost another turnover on the other end. This time Shinny has the space to get across the timeline. Driving in, Forte almost shot a 3 again, now driving in towards the free throw line. Back out to Shinny, who will reset. Forte loses control, and Cynthia Labissiere ends up with it. 38 and counting to go, and a foul called.
And Joey, Woburn went right to doubling Emma Shinny. You can tell that they've done their research, and it proves to be great there, as Labissiere will get the steal, and she will get fouled and fouled again to put Woburn eventually into the bonus, it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like Wakefield will have to choose to play the foul game. They have 5 team fouls. The 7th will constitute the 1-1. So 1 more until free throws. And we'll do the inbound play again.
The shot clock is now off, Joey, so for the rest of the game, no shot clock.
Set play, inbounded to Labissiere. No foul called yet. Trying to get across half court. She's bumped. And
see what the call is here. They're going to give it back to Woburn as Hayden will inbound it. Coach Sullivan taking no risks here, going to call a timeout. Joey, what's your approach here?
In this situation, you want each of your girls to know exactly what they need to do on this type of play. So I like the idea from Coach Sullivan to call a timeout, and he's got his whiteboard out to draw up exactly what he wants to see.
And Joey, what I'm going with here is you want to get all your players open. You want to move the ball around the court so that it's difficult for the likes of Shinny and Sunken and Forte to foul the Woburn players.
We could even see some screens while the ball is being inbounded and try and find open space for the person you want to handle the ball.
Well, Joey, 28.2 seconds left. 4-point lead for Woburn. We didn't see this coming at halftime. We really didn't. So it's impressive to see what the girl Tanners have done here, as it's down to the home stretch here. Let's see what they can do.
It's almost, you could say, the opposite of the game we expected. But either way, the Tanners find themselves up 4 with 28.2 to go. Amber Hayden, the senior captain, set to inbound the ball to Labissiere. She's quickly guarded and fouled by Sunkton, and that will be the 7th foul. Cynthia Labissiere, another senior captain of this Lady Tanners team, will shoot a big 1-and-1 with 26.4 to go.
Joey, this being massive free throw, considering it's a one-on-one, you miss and you give Wakefield right back the basketball.
The first one is good.
Clutch free throw by Cindy Labissiere. One thing I want to say, Joey, they had their problems with free throws in the playoffs last year, but they seem to be much improved on that phase of the game.
The second one will make it a 2-possession game. That one's no good, but a huge offensive rebound by Shannon McCarthy. Cynthia able to keep it in, and another foul. This one goes on Shinny, and that one will be an automatic. No, never mind. Another 1-and-1.
See if Labissiere can make her first free throw, and that will make it 2-possession game still, but difficult. And no, she won't.
This time it is rebounded by Calder and Wakefield. Shinny dribbling it across half court towards the wing, back out to the corner. Now to Shinny. They want to get it to Shinny with only 9 seconds to go. They're still down by 5. She has to put up a 3. It's no good. Battled for and rebounded by Hayden. She's got one defender in front of him. She hits the deck, and that'll do it. The Lady Tanners will come away with a 38-33 hard-fought 5-point win on an opposite game of what we kind of expected. But either way, the Tanners come out with a W.
Joey, what an impressive game to watch from Morrison, from McCarthy, and Labissiere down the stretch with that. All she needed was that one free throw, and that did it. All she needed. And just the defense during the second half from the Tanners was so impressive and made them deserve the win. It really helped them down the stretch, gave them energy, gave them momentum, and that's just so great that they can win this game. Wakefield will move to 6-1. The Tanners will move to 5-1, and that will do it from the Woburn Public Media Center studios. The Tanners 38, Wakefield 33. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time